Hi everyone. I've seen the memes, I've seen the posts and the comments on a lot of people out there, including myself and some clients, that are over snacking or binging on certain foods during this quarantine of ours. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about it, shall we? But first things first, I want to get something clear. I've seen a lot of comments out there on this anti-diet culture. So let me get this straight, that me giving tips on how to not binge on snacks has nothing to do with going on a diet. In fact, none of my messaging is about going on diets. I've personally never even been on a diet in my life, and I've never subscribed them for clients of mine. I've always been trying to keep my clients as healthy as possible through nutrition, through fitness, and through mindset. So out of the way, let's talk about these snacks, all right? So I had an incident the other day where I finished off a bag of yogurt-covered pretzels in 2 days. And I knew it going back into, rewind, when I went into the grocery store, I knew from the moment I put that bag in my cart how that was gonna go down. It's the same when I talk about safety and self-defense, right? You always have this intuitive feeling before something bad actually happens, before the danger sets in, right? So that's what I'm talking about. If we can just rewind to that moment of reaching for that food, even bringing it into your home in the first place, that would be your first line of defense, okay? Stocking your food, stocking your home with healthy foods, especially during this quarantine, is gonna be super important. And I know a lot I get, well, my kids, right? My kids have all this junk food and I can't help but binge on it too. Well, you know what? Get them healthier snacks then. Okay, so let's talk about why especially right now that we crave these certain foods. There's a few different reasons, and there's a few different things that we usually go for. One is processed carbohydrates. Two is a combination of salty sweet plus fat, right? And I'll get back to that in a second. And the third is crunchy foods. Okay, so let's go into the processed carbs. The reason that we're all craving processed carbohydrates, whether that be pasta, breads, pizza, cookies, all kind of baked goods, is because it turns into sugar in your body very quickly, which then spikes your blood sugar, but it also lights up these parts of your brain that are the pleasure centers, and it releases pleasurable hormones, right? Like dopamine and serotonin. So if you're feeling bad, sad, depressed, stressed, which most of us are, it's only normal for us to want to feel good in the moment. So the only trick and thing we have to remember is that after that feel good spike, that there is usually a crash. So that stress, that depression, that sadness is going to come back probably even worse. So instead, try and have at least a lot of whole foods in your diet, especially during this quarantine. Lots of high fiber snacks, fruits and vegetables, and even whole grains. The second thing, that salt and sweet and fat combination. There's a great book that I read many years ago by David Kessler on the science behind this. And basically the food industry knows that foods that have those three combinations, those three deadly combinations, become highly, highly addictive. So foods are manufactured that way to have sugar, salt, and fat. So it's almost like we like can't even control ourselves around that. Now think of foods that are like, say Doritos or that kind of stuff, where you're reading the ingredients and you see the fat, you know, obviously there's the salt, but then they add sugar, and that's where that third combination just gets you. Or think about McDonald's French fries, right? There's sugar in those. So you got the fat, the salty, and that sugar, it's gonna be even more addictive. Think about a salted caramel ice cream, same type of thing. So when you are, again, choosing your foods, try to stick to at least one flavor profile. I know for myself that sweet and salty together is, like I said, a deadly combination. So I try not to keep things like that in my house. Ta-da! I mean, that's pretty easy, right? And the third thing we crave is crunchy, right? Sometimes if you find yourself like just reaching in the bag, crunch, 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 reaching in the bag, crunch, 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 and then all of a sudden you can't stop. What that is usually about is you're stressed, right? And something about that crunching starts to feel good. It feels like aggressive, right? So again, there's loads of ways that we can reduce stress, but in the meantime, if you are craving that crunch, then again, have healthier snacks like raw carrots and celery and radishes even, or whatever, that are healthier options, alternatives to the bag of chips, the bag of tortilla chips, the pretzels, etc., that you're just crunch, 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 okay? Usually check in with yourself. How stressed are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? And if you're in that higher range, then again, try first to start with a healthier alternative. And then, you know what? Sometimes you just have to eat the damn snack and not feel the guilt, okay? There's that too, and it's gonna happen. Like I said, it happens to the best of us, and you know what? It's no big deal. So that's it for now. If there's any other nutrition questions or health and wellness questions that I can help you answer, leave them in the comment below. Also, let me know what your like most addictive kind of snack is. I want to hear. All right, thanks.